On my birthday, the one day every mother secretly hopes her children will remember, I learned something that shattered me in silence. I wasn't forgotten by accident. I was replaced. I stood near the doorway of my own home, holding a small paper bag. Inside was a scarf, nothing expensive. Just something warm I bought for myself because a quiet voice inside me whispered, "Don't expect anything." Across the room, my children were laughing. Their laughter was loud, carefree, alive, but none of it reached me. Their eyes weren't searching for my face. Their voices weren't calling my name. They were celebrating with her, their stepmother. And in that moment, standing there like a guest in my own life, I felt something slip away from me forever. That night, after the candles were blown out by someone else, after I walked home alone, I changed the will. I wasn't always invisible. Once I was everywhere. I was the sound of footsteps in the morning, the smell of food in the kitchen, the voice reminding them not to forget their jackets. I stayed awake until I heard the front door lock at night. I memorized their moods, their fears, their silences. I didn't need thank you cards. I didn't need praise. I believed motherhood was permanent, unshakable. I believed no one could ever take my place. I was wrong. The night their father died, my children cried in my arms, and I held them tightly, even though my chest felt hollow. I didn't fall apart. Mothers don't get that privilege. I learned how to be strong before I learned how to grieve. I paid bills with shaking hands. I smiled through school meetings with red eyes. I swallowed loneliness every night. I told myself, one day they'll understand what this cost me. But time doesn't always bring understanding. Sometimes it brings forgetting. I gave up things quietly. Dreams, rest, my own youth. I wore the same clothes year after year, so they could have new ones. I stayed silent in rooms where my voice deserved space. The house they now felt entitled to was built on my exhaustion. Every wall held my fingerprints. Every room remembered me. But sacrifice is invisible once people stop needing you. Her name was Linda. She arrived softly, smiling, helpful. She praised my cooking while changing recipes. She complimented my parenting while undoing my authority. She told my children I was too emotional, that I was old-fashioned, that I needed help, and slowly, they listened. They stopped asking my opinion. They stopped defending me. I was still there, but my place was already gone. Furniture moved without asking me. Schedules changed without telling me. Conversations stopped when I entered the room. I felt like a guest, waiting for permission. In the house I once ruled with love. I told myself to be patient, but patience slowly turned into erasure, and erasure hurts more than anger ever could. When my daughter said, "Don't make plans, Mom," my heart lifted. For the first time in years, I felt included. I imagined something simple. A hug, a smile, a candle with my name on it. I didn't need gifts. I needed to feel remembered. Hope makes fools of people who have already been forgotten. The house was decorated, but not for me. There was no banner with my name. No card. No candle waiting for my breath. My seat, the one I'd sat in for decades, was gone. When I mentioned it softly, my son said, "Mom, it's not a big deal." But it was, because love lives in details. When Linda blew out the candles, everyone clapped. I sat there, feeling like a shadow. "It's my birthday," I said quietly. My daughter laughed awkwardly. "Oh, right, sorry." Linda smiled and said, "Birthdays don't matter much at this age." And my son nodded. That nod hurt more than any insult, because it told me I no longer belonged. I left without saying goodbye. No one followed. The street felt colder than usual. Every step felt heavy, like I was carrying years of silence on my back. I realized something terrifying. If I disappeared tonight, nothing in their lives would change. At home, I opened the folder. The will. Pages written when love still felt safe. I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. Inheritance is not owed. It is earned through respect. I changed everything carefully. No shouting, no revenge, only boundaries. Trusts instead of control, limits instead of entitlement. And the house, I gave it to women who knew what it felt like to be discarded. They came angry, not worried, not apologetic. They asked what they lost, not how I felt. And that told me everything. Linda left quietly. Love that depends on money is never love. Justice doesn't need noise. I live smaller now, but lighter. I wake up without fear. I sleep without waiting. Peace has a sound. It sounds like silence. I didn't change the will out of anger. I changed it because I finally understood my worth. They chose her on my birthday, and I chose myself for the rest of my life.